Evening, folks. What do you think of the new countdown timer? That's the project I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. The normal countdown timer is too boring, so I decided to just throw that together, and we made another little musical interlude. So tonight, we're going to retry our cold brew tea, but with probably half as much water, see if it's not as watered down as last time. So okay, yeah, definitely tastes different. Still a little watered down though. Might have to mess with my levels here. All right, so happy almost New Year. 新年快乐. Now, hang on a second. Yeah, not dealing with that right now. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking that New Year's was a month ago, which is true for solar New Year. But we're going to be discussing Chinese New Year, also known as Spring Festival or Chunjie in Chinese, which falls on the second new moon after the winter solstice. The Chinese calendar is not a fully lunar calendar. I think the only completely lunar calendar is the Islamic calendar. And the month lasts 28 days, starts on the new moon, ends on the full moon. Excuse me. And there are 13 and a half months in the Islamic calendar. So to have 12 months, you need a lunisolar calendar, which is what the Chinese calendar is. Oh, we have visitors. There you go. See if we can cover my face up. We'll focus. Come on, focus. It doesn't want to focus.
No, cameras don't like me.
A lunisolar calendar combines the solar calendar with the lunar calendar to give you 12 months, but the month itself still starts on the new moon for that month, but will continue to go the regular number of days that particular month has. That's why it's a lunisolar calendar. But at least recently, in a lot of Chinese countries, they will also call Chinese New Year Lunar New Year. So, wow, we have some comments. So let's go through some of these before we really get into things. First person is obviously my lovely wife, Welcome all to the Teahouse. Hope you enjoy your stay and conversation. And we have Uncle Carl made it tonight. Wonderful. Hi, Foxy, just tuning in early to make sure I didn't miss it. Yeah, you didn't miss anything last time. Do the same thing since I don't always get reminders. YouTube can be a jerk like that. And we have Aunt Donna. Hey, Foxy and Whitman Dude found it and finally subscribed. Oh, guys, thank you. I do. I really appreciate people actually showing an interest in the things that I say. So, hi, Donna. We'll try to pay attention until the next cat disturbance or my older brother calls me the third time tonight about buying a new computer. IT conversations. Yeah, let's have fun with that. Need an upgrade? I really don't, but my computer works fairly well. Carl often posts links to refurbished machines from reputable dealers, so keep watching Facebook. Good to know. Don't need super fancy, just something that's not old. Unless you play Call of Duty, you don't need to spend over $1,000 on a machine. Yeah, we don't do that. We play Dungeons and Dragons online and Dine Dragons, and that's pretty much it. Apologies if I get weird and a lot of pain, so I took some pain meds. Yeah. Something I can't get into. Yeah. When you're doing IT and things like that for relatives, it's a thing. We're always weird. Yeah. Play a couple older games, so some graphics is nice, but doesn't have to be super high end. No. Yep. Making the tea. Making the tea. Good evening, Trey. And we have people greeting and greetings. Cat shenanigans. And more greetings. And there's Don. Hi, Don. How you doing? Evening, kids. Just waking up from a nap, so half, okay, 3/4 groggy. The public was just too publicly. Yeah. Yeah. And Trey greeting everyone else. And hello to Don. And there is the independent creator directory. Also, Joe Bachman greeting everyone. While we're doing that, indiecd.org. Wonderful website that Foxy and I and a good portion of the comments today are actually a part of. If you need books to read, books edited, you need music, you need a little journal made, that would be me. You need some jewelry, that'd be Foxy. Go there. Find people and things. And we have Carl greeting Dawn. Marketplace Mall was a frickin' madhouse. Not even a full moon. Now it's almost a new moon, actually. Good thing to say about a con. And we got greetings for Joe, and people have been very special lately. Yeah, yesterday afternoon on our way home from work, Foxy was sitting in Walmart parking lot while I ran in and grabbed a couple of things, and she told me she saw like almost 24 accidents just in the 5 or 6 minutes I was in the store. So, yes, special. Long time no see. Idiots have been out in force. Yeah. Best thing about it was Michaela and Brian K. Morris were so busy we could leave fast. Yeah, well. Been a minute, hasn't it? Yeah. Showtime. It's something. And we have Donna greeting Joe and like it better than the others. Very cool. That was different. Yeah. It's kind of what I was going for. Great way to do a countdown time. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I tried to find in like Clipchamp and Adobe Premiere, they all have templates for doing countdown timers. But you have to put whatever font you want the numbers in. And there's not a single font out there that I found that had the countdown being done in Chinese numbers. That's what that was. For those who don't know, that was from 30 to 0 in Chinese numbers. There was not a single one out there that I could find that had Chinese numbers. So I had to make it myself. And then again, just like with my ad, I was not going to have people sit there in silence for 30 seconds because that's just annoying. So I wrote another little 30-second thing. And once again, just like with my ad, I hate it. But all of the compliments are actually making me feel a little bit better about it. So nice. Yeah, Foxy's Chinese New Year nails. Pictures. They're fun. And hello, Miss Saren. Thank you for coming to the show. Nice colors, yeah. Black and red. Kind of my thing. Yeah. And we have Donna greeting Miss Saren. And Donna complimenting Foxy's nails. Pretty. And more compliments and more compliments. And we have Trey greeting Saren. And we have Joe greeting Saren. More compliments on the nails. Foxy greeting Miss Saren. Calendars and time are interesting. We can learn a lot by other cultures. That's kind of why I wanted to do this. Because several years ago, and I'm talking like over a decade, because I haven't talked to this asshole in more than that long. I had a friend, and we were discussing something. Me and someone else were discussing something, and he was just kind of in the periphery over here. And I mentioned New Year, and he goes, "Is that Chinese New Year or the real one?" As if the solar New Year is the real New Year, and any other New Year that ever existed, or will exist in the future is fake. Yeah. Isn't that true, Carl? It's so neat how different cultures view time differently. The Chinese calendar, let's see if I can remember the calculations here. Let's see. Let's see where we're at. The Chinese calendar doesn't go by, AD and BCE. So their time started at, basically a year zero. And the current Chinese year is 4722 or 23. So if you're going by the Chinese calendar, they're like 2,600 years in the future. So yeah. Time zones around the international date line cause issues for people all over the Pacific. Yeah. Cool seeing what different cultures celebrate. Really is. I took anthropology classes in college. Yeah, I wanted to, but they canceled the class. You would think that some Chinese YouTuber would have made a countdown by now. I didn't find one. That doesn't mean that one doesn't exist, but I mean, it gave me an excuse to write another piece of music. So music really made the countdown. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, I hate it, but for sure on the music. Come on. Music is certainly uniquely his. Yeah. It's music ties in nicely with the show. Thank you. Music was a lot easier to listen to than most of the other countdowns I've heard. I usually take my headphones off. Yeah. At least I don't scream in your ear. And there goes my light. Yeah, the real New Year. Yeah, he's a dick. Thesis Riff would make a great chill out music for just hanging out. Well, I don't know about that, but thank you. People can be ignorant. Yeah, and that's, you know, like I said, that's kind of why I wanted to do this, is to maybe enlighten some people that might not have known about Chinese New Year. If they were interested, they can come here and find out. So, the solar New Year, as we all know, occurs on January 1st. It lasts for basically a day. Fireworks, barbecues, drinking, a fair bit of drinking. The Chinese New Year, as I said, is the second new moon after winter solstice, lasts for a week, also starts the day before the actual New Year at midnight when the clock rolls over to New Year's Day. You'll see people wearing red. Red is considered a auspicious or good luck color in Chinese culture. So you'll see a lot of red. You'll see a lot of red clothes. You'll see a lot of red decorations. You might see one of these. This is a hongbao, or a red envelope. Inside the red envelope is what's known as lucky money. Red envelopes are usually given by parents. If you're in a martial arts school, you might get one from your shifu or your teacher. Students in regular academic school will get them from teachers. Listen when he's practicing and relax. There was a fair bit of practicing on that one. And you still need to make an ad, and I will write another piece for you. And while we're at it, what the hell? Anybody else who wants music written for an ad? Why not? If you people actually like my music that much, reach out to me. I will write something. I will record it. I will edit it. We'll just go with that. Lots of gold. Yeah. You can see here some gold leaf up here, kind of. There will also be fireworks because the Chinese invented fireworks. That's what it is. They invented fireworks. There will be oranges consumed because the orange is round and orange like the sun. So oranges are consumed as a symbol of the end of winter. That's why Chinese New Year is called the Spring Festival, because that particular festival signifies the end of the winter season and the beginning of warming up into, the spring months, which is why it's always the second new moon after solstice. You'll see lots of different foods being eaten. Infinity noodles which is basically just kind of like it's kind of a chow mein type dish. And yes, oranges are good. We're going to have to go buy some oranges next weekend. For those who aren't aware, the Chinese New Year is February 11th this year. So there you go. No, eternity noodles. That's what it is. It's just uncut rice noodles, and it says if you are able to get the longest noodle out of the dish, if you're, eating as a group, if you get the longest noodle, that's going to be good luck for you for that year. If you're eating it yourself, it's all yours anyway. So makes sense to time it with the solstice and a full moon. So, yeah. Like I said, lunisolar calendar. It's not a fully lunar calendar. It combines elements of both the lunar calendar and the solar calendar. Dawn was thinking the same thing. Better than century eggs. Yeah, you know what? Just because I'm feeling maybe not quite so charitable, I did this a couple of weeks ago in a Discord room. So let's share screen. Okay. That is a century egg. It is a Chinese delicacy. Not necessarily always served on or near New Year's, but also known as alkalized or preserved eggs. Preserving duck, chicken, or quail eggs in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, quicklime, and rice hulls for several weeks to several months. It kind of tastes like if you've ever been to Yellowstone and you've been near one of the sulfur pools and just taken a really deep breath, that kind of sulfur smell that gets stuck in the back of your throat. That's what a century egg tastes like. Just get a nice big look at that thing. There you go. That's a century egg. Yeah. Uh-oh. Well, you brought it up, so. Fermented eggs, they taste the way hot springs smell with the texture of Jell-O. Yep. Sulfur, yeah, pretty much. That's a century egg. I would much rather have an orange. Or eternity noodles, or oh boy, dumplings. Dumplings is another big one. Youtiao. Youtiao is, if you've ever had a churro, that's basically a youtiao. It's a Chinese deep fried stick. Looks cool, but maybe like pretty stone. Yeah. Yeah. Foxy and my old shifu is from Taiwan. And he had one, and we were over at his house one day, and he's like, come on, you need to try it. And we're like, okay, I guess. It was pretty bad, but there will be lots of family gatherings, just like with Solar New Year. But you won't see a lot of drinking. There's some, obviously. Also, giving gifts. But there are certain gifts you should not ever give during Chinese New Year. Don't give anything that you would give to a Chinese funeral. Never, ever wear white. Something that a lot of people who aren't into Chinese culture realize is that white in Asian cultures is the color of mourning. White is a funeral color. If you've ever been to a Buddhist or Asian wedding, the bride will never be wearing white. That's bad luck. Maybe dumplings would be okay with some southern gravy and hash browns. Waffle House. They have their own version of Waffle House, I'm pretty sure. Don't ever give a clock, a watch, even a picture of a clock, because that symbolizes time passing. Time passing symbolizes the end. So don't ever give swords, knives, because that will symbolize you wanting to cut ties with that person. Don't give mirrors. Don't give shoes, because shoes symbolize that you are wanting to walk away from the relationship. You'll see, if we can bring this one up. You'll see this symbol. That is the character Fool. That's a good one. How to break up Asian style. Yeah, pretty much. Wood burn I did today definitely would be a good present. Not for Chinese New Year. That would be considered rude. Yeah, different kind of dumplings. Would look more like... let's see if I can find a better one here. There we go. These dumplings. Jiaozi. Usually known in most Western countries as pot stickers. That's probably ponzu or soy sauce or, something. If we ever visit there, I'll need a protocol officer. I could definitely give you some, very deep symbol. It's a very symbolic country. It really is. Foxy would be considered rude because she eats left-handed and you're not supposed to use your left hand. Yes, these are much better tasting. They're pretty good most of the time. I've run across a few that are kind of awful, but you probably will not run across mooncakes. And Dawn's also left-handed. Another little random piece of advice for all of my lovely followers here. Lefty high five. Just don't miss and slap yourself in the face. If you are ever eating and another lefty, if you're ever eating in a Chinese restaurant and you're eating with chopsticks, and I've seen people do this, and it bugs the crap out of me because they're, Westerners. I try not to let it bother me too much. Okay, we'll have to use a little you're using chopsticks and you're eating in a Chinese restaurant. When you're done, or even if you want to stop for a minute, take a break. A lot of Chinese restaurants that I have been to, they don't offer rests for your chopsticks. There's actually a pair in the other room, so I might go grab those. Be right back. If you ever see something like this at your table, come on, focus. This is a chopstick rest. When you're finished eating or you're taking a break, take your chopsticks, sit them like this on the table. So we have, stand up. Have a table. Rest your chopsticks. Do not, under any circumstances, stick your chopsticks up like this in your food. Don't do it. Because this looks like incense sticks, which, just like with wearing white, makes people think of funerals. So don't do it. Flat. Lay them flat. Just a little etiquette. Go back through comments here. Foxy can sort of eat with her right, and I can sort of eat with my left and right with my left, but Donna is right-handed but eats with either hand. And Joe can't use chopsticks in either hand, not without wearing food. I stick the sushi with a fork and dip it in the soy sauce, which is fine. Just if you're using chopsticks. Foxy hasn't tried chopsticks, should learn. All over, well, if you happen to be in, Chinatown or something during Chinese New Year, you will need to know these things because people will give leeway occasionally for, people who don't know better. But yeah, learning social skills. Oh no, it's fine to rest them on the plate. Because like I said, most of the places I've been to don't have things like this. But if you're resting them on the plate, lay them flat. The plate is fine as long as it's not sticking up in the food like this. Plate is okay, sticking them up is bad. Exactly. Usually fold my wrapper from single-use ones and use it. There you go. See? That's good. That is a good idea. We actually have some of those in the kitchen, too. Because we have a pretty good Chinese buffet. Oh, actually, it's not a buffet anymore. It was for a while. And then it was a Chinese fusion place. And now it's just straight Chinese food. It's on the other side of town, though, so I don't. And when we order from them to go pick up, they'll just grab a handful of chopsticks and just throw them in the bag. Yeah. Being polite is good. Exactly. Haven't used chopsticks in years. Wonder if my hands would let me. Hey, if you want to try it, go for it. Should have seen the time thesis on my brother. Okay, yeah. Story time. So, this was, again, the first time I went back to Missouri to meet Foxy's family. And they had a little kind of out of the way Chinese, Japanese kind of restaurant. Here's another little piece of advice. If you have a Chinese restaurant that is entirely staffed by Asian people, that's going to be a good Chinese restaurant. Because we used to have 2 restaurants in our hometown. We had China City and we had Hunan Village. I had always gone to China City. China City had been there since I was a kid. And then Hunan Village opened. And I realized what actual Chinese food was supposed to taste like. China City was usually staffed by young, attractive, white females. And if you happen to be walking past when the kitchen staff was talking, they were usually conversing entirely in Spanish. When Hunan Village opened, the greeter was Asian. The waiters were Asian. If you walk past the little kitchen window, Chinese, rapid fire. If you're going to a Chinese restaurant that's entirely staffed by Asian people, that's a good place. So, this place sounds hysterical. Yeah, wait. This place was kind of a buffet style. I should put these down because I keep pointing them like I'm not supposed to. And like I said, this is the first time I've met all of these people. This was before the little green room conversation I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I'm not going to get in now because I don't want to get demonetized. Thank you very much. I had spent a grand total of, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours with Foxy's brother because her and her mother had decided that it would be a wise idea to stick me alone in a car with just him for several hours. And being, I was in my early 20s. I think he was 16 or 17. We had developed a little bit of a banter in that time. I mean, we had spoken on the phone a few times before I went back to meet them, so there was a little bit of, conversation there. But we had that kind of not quite adversarial relationship, but playing pranks and shit on each other. We're going through the buffet line, and I notice at the end of the buffet, they have buckets of like soy sauce and ponzu and, basically dipping sauces. And I did something I probably shouldn't have. And I convinced Foxy's brother to take a big heaping spoonful of wasabi. And I'm not talking about a little spoon. I'm talking about like a good sized spoon. I'm like, yeah, you should try it. It's good. He just takes a big spoon and then his mouth was on fire. We had our food. We're sitting there. And we get through the appetizers and the main dish, and they had squares of Jell-O for dessert. It was green. Should have been red. Whatever. But I had been, and I'll admit, I had been showing off that night, eating my entire meal, appetizer and main dish and rice, with my chopsticks. So I pick up this little dish of Jell-O and I look over at Foxy's brother and I take my chopsticks and I tried to grab a piece of Jell-O with chopsticks. And so, being the kind of relationship that we had, he picks up his chopsticks and tries to one-up me. So we're sitting here struggling for 5 or 10 minutes trying to eat a little square of Jell-O with chopsticks. And we can see like the little desk where the greeter is watching us. She's just laughing her head off. She's yelling into the kitchen, "You gotta come watch this." Obviously in Chinese. Here comes the waiter walking around the outside edge of the table, all the way around to come and stand between me and my future brother-in-law, sticks his head between us and goes, "Usually we use a fork." And I'm like, I know, but I got the chopsticks. They're right here. So he's laughing. The kitchen staff comes out laughing at us. The hostess is laughing at us. We're having a grand old time. It was great. It was a complete and utter failure. By the time we were done, it was just like, instead of a square of Jell-O like we started with, it was just little chunks of it that had fallen off. Yeah, see? Staff was losing their minds. Who would stick fork in food straight up? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how often people will just, when they're done with something, just take their cutlery and just jam it in the center of the food, pointing straight up. Don't do it with chopsticks. Can barely eat Jell-O with a spoon. I don't think it's meant to be eaten with a spoon. If I had taken a straw, like out of my soda, and just jammed it into the center, I probably would have had the same reaction, but it would have worked better. Foxy tried a little, but mostly was just laughing, and so were your parents. We were having a great time. Amazing when not far from us. Portions are huge. New Hong Kong. When Foxy and I went to Glenwood Springs, Colorado, we were walking around with my parents. It was kind of one of those family vacations, and we just happened to stumble across a Chinese restaurant that was right around lunchtime, and that food was just absolutely amazing. Yeah. Asian staff, even if it's not the whole staff, if it's just the kitchen staff, that's going to be the greatest food. Hunan food is good. Szechuan food is good if you can handle the spice. Not everyone can. Fairly certain the entire staff is Asian except for delivery drivers. See, there you go. They love to feed people, and that's true. Have to go there soon? Yeah. I'd like to go back to the place across town, but it's across town. Lucky to have quite a few ethnic places run by food folks that know the foods they're preparing. Yeah, see, when Hunan Village opened and China City had competition, they started trying to make some of the food that Hunan Village was making, and it was awful. It was terrible. The first time I went back to China City, I have to stop myself every time I say it, because once Hunan Village opened, China City became kind of shitty. And that's how it is in my brain. I went back to China City after having real Chinese food, and I ordered the orange beef. It looked like they had taken a can of Alpo dog food and just opened the can up and just put it on the plate over some rice. And it didn't taste much better. Small shrimp fried rice and some crab rangoons. Oh, man. I haven't eaten dinner yet, guys. Tangerine chicken. Oh. Ham fried rice since allergic to shellfish. Yeah. General So's. I did that yesterday. That's the good stuff right there. Crab rangoons have me ruined. I do Generals. I do orange chicken. I'll do sesame chicken. Yeah. Like I said, this place is on the other side of town, but their egg flour soup is amazing. It's great. I know, Sarah, and they're being horrible, aren't they? Yeah, wasabi. Yeah. He believed me. He was just like, oh, okay, yeah, you know this Asian stuff better than I do. Yeah, he's an idiot. Brothers can be like that. No kidding. Sounds like you made a great memory for yourselves and a great night for the staff. Sometimes I wonder if they still talk about it, if the place is even still open. It was a good night. It was a good visit. Neither am I, and now I'm hungry too. Yeah, I know. That's one thing that a lot of Chinese New Year celebrations will have is a lot of food. Just once, I would like to go to a Chinese restaurant on Chinese New Year just to see what happens. Just to see if they stuff you stupid. And we're almost on the hour, and I'm still rambling. The Chinese New Year system each year has an animal avatar, perhaps. That's one way to look at it. This year, 2024, will be the year of the dragon. Yeah, now all of us are hungry for Chinese food. Whatever month or whatever year you were born in, every 12 years, that year will come back up. I was born in 1980, which was the year of the monkey. So my 12th birthday, my 24th birthday, my 36th, 48, those will all be monkey years. Know what we should do for dinner during Chinese New Year? About to friggin' make some damn stir frying. We've eaten this combo has made me hungry again. Orange chicken, yes. Orange chicken because oranges, as we discussed earlier. The Chinese New Year animals, I almost always get this wrong. But it's rat, okay. Rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake. Oh boy. Rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. There we go. So, if you were born, and I'm fairly certain, yes, this is the year of the dragon. Fairly certain that no one in this chat was, but if you were born in the year 2000, you were born in the year of the dragon. My maternal grandfather, who was very, very much into horse riding and the whole Western aesthetic, was born in the year of the horse. And each year, animal has, different things that animal is known for, and that will be you. It's very similar to the Western zodiac. It's just animals instead of celestial bodies. And the story of how this came about is the celestial emperor was holding a banquet, and the list of animals is when each animal came to the party. So the very last one to show up was the pig or boar. For funsies, I'm a boar. Thesis can figure out what everyone else is. Trey's a tiger. That makes sense. once upon a time, I knew like my entire family because, hey, me and Donna are both monkeys. There you go. See, there are people who know these things. 1959. Okay. Depending on if it was before or after the new year that year, that would also be the year of the pig. So you would have the same. Miss Saren was born in the year of the cock. Yep. So November would be well after the new year. So yeah, you'd share the boar with Foxy. Yep, 1979 would be the sheep. Because that would be right before the monkey, sheep or goat, depending. Don ran to give food. Nothing like a good bowl of Captain Crunch to satiate craving for Chinese food. All right. Boars tend to like good food. That's true. They very much like to eat. All right. Yeah, that's not going to work at all. But nice for trying, I guess. I don't know. Since we're coming up on the hour, if anyone has any questions about Chinese New Year, feel free to ask. But we're going to throw in one more little story time. Pretty educational. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. So, this was back when the place was still called Hunan Village. And it was in a kind of small-ish, kind of mini mall. It still is, but now it's its own building. It was a great show. Thank you very much, Aunt Donna. And Dawn enjoyed the show, Chat and Company. I'm glad you did. So, I went with a different friend, not the same one who asked about Chinese New Year or the real one, but he was also not the greatest person. I went with him and his parents for Chinese food. And they still had up their Christmas lights. I want to say it was mid-January, maybe? I'm not entirely sure when, but learned a lot today. I'm glad. And this person's, my friend's dad was always kind of an asshole. And we're getting towards the end of the meal. And he calls the waitress over and proceeds to read her the riot act about still having Christmas decorations up in, January or whenever it was. And she's like, well, we keep them up until after Chinese New Year. Because, we're Asian. We're Chinese. So we're going to keep the lights up. And of course, the asshole goes, well, nobody knows when that is. And I had to pipe up and go, I do. And I gave the exact date of Chinese New Year. I gave the exact zodiac sign. I gave the exact element of the zodiac sign for that year. And the waitress just looked at me. And then she's like, yeah, what he said. There's a reason that friend's dad didn't like me very much. He was one of those people who never wanted to admit when he was wrong. So anytime some places leave the lights up year round, that's true. Anytime that he was proven to be wrong, he absolutely hated it. Yes, we have Pupper cameo. My little Pupper, who is investigating something. I don't know. That was the same restaurant that I went into alone, ordered entirely in Mandarin Chinese, had a fairly short, maybe 3-minute conversation with the waitress, again in Chinese. And when I left, I thanked them for the food and said goodbye again in Chinese. They loved me. Now, the place that it's basically become now is no longer owned by the same people. But when it was Hunan Village, it was basically one family that ran the whole thing. The kitchen staff, the waitresses, the hostesses, it was all one family. And I went in there one day, once again, alone. I don't remember if I ever took Foxy there. I think by the time she came around, I think it had moved into the new building and had the new owners that also ended up losing it. And I have, it's gone through like 3 or 4 different owners. World can be pretty awful. If pretty lights make people happy, let them have their pretty lights. That is exactly right. And Foxy has lights on her dresser mirror that she uses to read at night. And I'm tempted to get out our friggin' Christmas lights and put them back around our door frame because our outside front porch light is burnt out again. But the family that ran Hunan Village loved me because I would go in there, I would be respectful, I would follow the etiquette of eating Chinese food, and I could speak a little bit of Chinese. So, not to, be egotistical or anything, but I think if I would have had the balls to do it, I probably could have asked out the hostess or one of the waitresses and had a Chinese girlfriend. But this was back when I was younger and much more withdrawn than I am now. That person that I was back then would look at me now running this show and be like, holy shit, you're actually like talking to people. And but I went in there once alone, and the matriarch, I want to say, of the family came out at the end of my meal and gave me a red envelope. I was completely blown away by that. It was like $100 in there too. I'm like, holy shit, dude. And now I have a Foxy, and it was a journey to get there, believe me. Yes, she had to chase me. It's true. Like I said, I was a completely different person 25 years ago. Oh, it was. It was an insane, like, I was literally crying at the table. And then I went and blew the money on my psycho girlfriend at the time because I honestly didn't think I could do any better. But all right, we're over the hour, and I don't see any questions in the chat. So everyone, seriously, thank you again for coming. Yeah, that's a story for another time. You guys really make me feel blessed to know that people are actually willing to listen to the crap that I have to spew. The next show will be on the 17th. Remember to subscribe and like. Thank you, Don. I'm not good at self-promotion. There's the dog again. I'm not 100% sure what I'll do next time, but I'm thinking of just spending an hour drooling over swords that I want to own. Could be fun. Other people are more than willing to or drop links on Facebook of weapons they would like to own, and we'll discuss them next time. I am going to go and eat because I'm starving now, and my dog is definitely telling me I need to eat. Thanks for the stream. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for coming, Saren. Everyone, I will probably see some of you later on tonight. And if not, Monday. Thanks, everyone, again. Thank you for the compliments. Go get Chinese food. See everyone later. Have a great night. I'm so happy that you guys liked my new countdown. That's going to be on every stream going forward. My offer still stands. If you want music for an ad, reach out to me and we'll discuss it. I'm not the best guitar player. I realize that. But seems like so far people have actually liked 2 things that I have done. So I will see you all later. Have a lovely evening. And 再见。